Listen, what I'm about to tell you will shock you to your core. This isn't some made-up Hollywood drama. This is real. This happened to a boy named Marcus, and by the time I'm done telling you this story, you'll understand why some doors should never be opened, no matter how golden they appear. Marcus was 22, fresh out of secondary school, trying to figure out his next move in life. He wasn't born with a silver spoon. His family struggled to put food on the table in their small flat in Surulere, Lagos. But Marcus, he was different. Not because he was the smartest or the most handsome, though he had his charm. What made Marcus different was his hunger. He looked around and saw his age mates living life. Designer clothes, iPhone 14, weekend trips to Dubai, cars that cost more than his father made in 5 years. And Marcus? He was tired of being broke. Tired of wearing the same 3 shirts to different occasions. Tired of trekking when his friends were cruising. He wanted more. That's when fate introduced him to Mrs. Victoria Adebayo. Victoria was 46, a successful businesswoman who had built an empire from nothing. She owned 3 companies, 2 in oil and gas, 1 in real estate. Her house in Banana Island was worth over 800 million naira. When she walked into a room, conversations stopped. Not just because she was beautiful, because she was. Even at 46, Victoria could turn heads. But what really commanded respect was her power. She had money. She had influence. She had connections that could make or break careers with one phone call. Politicians called her for favors. CEOs invited her to their boards. Victoria Adebayo was not just rich. She was untouchable. The day Marcus met her changed his life forever. It was at a friend's birthday party in Victoria Island. Marcus had borrowed clothes just to fit in, hoping to network, maybe meet someone who could help him start something. He was standing by the bar, nursing one drink that he planned to make last the entire night, when he saw her. Victoria walked in wearing a black dress that probably cost more than Marcus's family's rent for a year. Diamond earrings caught the light as she moved. Her confidence was magnetic. She didn't just enter the room. She owned it. Their eyes met across the room, and something electric happened. Victoria smiled, a slow, knowing smile. Marcus felt his heart skip. Not because he was in love, but because he recognized opportunity when he saw it. She approached him first. "You look bored," she said, her voice smooth like aged whiskey. Marcus laughed nervously. "Just observing, taking it all in." "Smart boy," Victoria said, studying him like she was appraising a painting. "What's your name?" "Marcus. Marcus Okoro." "Victoria Adebayo." She extended her hand, and when Marcus shook it, he noticed her grip was firm, confident. "What do you do, Marcus?" The truth would have been embarrassing. The truth was that Marcus was unemployed, living with his parents, trying to figure out his next move. So instead, he said, "I'm exploring opportunities, looking to invest in the right ventures." Victoria's laugh was rich, knowing. "Invest? With what money?" Marcus's face flushed red. She had seen right through him. But instead of walking away, Victoria stepped closer. "Don't be embarrassed, darling. I like honest ambition. Tell me, what do you want from life?" And right there, in that moment, Marcus made a decision that would haunt him. He told her the truth. About his struggles, his dreams, his hunger for success. Victoria listened without judgment, nodding at the right places, asking the right questions. "You know what I see in you, Marcus?" she said finally. "Potential. Raw, unrefined potential. And I have something you want." "What's that?" "The keys to the life you're dreaming of. The question is, what are you willing to give in return?" That night, Victoria gave Marcus her phone number. "Call me tomorrow," she said. "Let's discuss your future." Marcus didn't sleep that night. He kept staring at the number, knowing that this woman could change his life. But he also sensed something else. Something dangerous in her smile. Something possessive in the way she looked at him. But his hunger was stronger than his fear. The next morning, he called. "Marcus, darling." Victoria's voice purred through the phone. "I've been thinking about our conversation. Are you free today? I want to show you something." Victoria picked him up in a black Range Rover Sport that smelled like leather and expensive perfume. She drove him to her office in Victoria Island, a gleaming tower with her name on the building. "This is what I built," she said as they rode the elevator to the top floor. "From nothing to this. Do you know what it takes?" Marcus shook his head. "Sacrifice, focus, and the right partnerships." Her office was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lagos Island. Art pieces that probably cost millions. A desk that looked like it belonged to a president. Victoria poured herself a glass of wine, even though it was only 2 p.m. "Marcus, I'm going to make you an offer. But first, I need you to understand something. I don't do charity. Everything I do is an investment. I invest in people, in potential, in futures, and I expect returns." She walked to her window, looking out at the city below. "I can give you everything you want. Money, connections, opportunities. I can make you somebody in this city. But in return, you give me something too." "What do you want?" Marcus asked, though part of him already knew. Victoria turned, her eyes intense. "Loyalty. Absolute, complete loyalty. You become mine, Marcus. My partner, my companion, my everything. No other women. No divided attention. You focus on me, and I focus on making you successful." Marcus felt his mouth go dry. "You mean?" "I mean exactly what you think I mean. I'm not just offering you a business partnership, darling. I'm offering you a life. My life. You move into my world, and I give you everything your heart desires." The room went silent except for the hum of the air conditioning. Marcus stared at her, processing what she was proposing. This wasn't just sugar mama territory. This was something else entirely. "Think about it," Victoria continued, sitting on the edge of her desk. "Right now, you're nobody. Tomorrow, you could be driving a Mercedes, wearing designer clothes, living in a penthouse, attending exclusive parties. All you have to do is say yes." Marcus looked out at the Lagos skyline. Down there were millions of people struggling just like him. How many of them would kill for this opportunity? "What exactly would I need to do?" he asked. Victoria smiled, and for a moment it looked almost predatory. "Be mine. Completely. No questions, no hesitation. You trust me to guide your life, and I'll make you wealthy beyond your dreams." That afternoon, Marcus said yes. Looking back, he would realize that was the moment he signed his own prison sentence. The transformation was immediate and dramatic. Victoria didn't waste time. The next morning, she took him shopping on Lagos Island. Not to small boutiques, to the stores where celebrities shopped. "Pick whatever you want," she said, her credit card ready. Marcus's hands shook as he selected shirts that cost 150,000 naira each. Shoes worth 300,000. Watches that cost more than his father's annual salary. Victoria watched with satisfaction as he tried on outfit after outfit. "You look like a different person," she said approvingly. "This is who you were meant to be." Next was the car. A brand new BMW X6, silver with black interior. Marcus nearly cried when she handed him the keys. "This is yours," Victoria said. "But remember, everything I give you comes with expectation." The apartment came next. A 3-bedroom penthouse in Ikoyi with a view of the Lagos Lagoon. Fully furnished with furniture that looked like it belonged in a magazine. A 75-inch smart TV, sound system, kitchen appliances that Marcus didn't even know how to use. "This is your home now," Victoria said as they walked through the space. "But you'll spend most of your time at mine." Within 2 weeks, Marcus's life was unrecognizable. His old friends couldn't believe the transformation. His family was confused but grateful when he started sending money home. But the real price was just beginning to reveal itself. Victoria was possessive in ways Marcus hadn't anticipated. She wanted to know where he was every moment of every day. She installed a tracking app on his new iPhone. "It's for your safety," she explained when he asked about it. "I have enemies, darling. If anything happens to you, I need to know where to find you." She controlled his schedule completely. Monday evenings were for dinner at her house. Wednesday afternoons were for accompanying her to business meetings. Friday nights were reserved for us time, which usually meant Victoria wanting physical intimacy that Marcus was increasingly uncomfortable with. The age difference was one thing, but it was the way Victoria wanted him that made his skin crawl. She was aggressive, demanding, treating him like he was her property rather than her partner. "You're mine," she would whisper during those Friday nights, her nails digging into his back. "Don't ever forget that." Marcus began to feel trapped, but he was in too deep to back out. Every luxury in his life was tied to Victoria. The car was in her name. The apartment lease was in her name. Even his bank account was one she had opened for him, with her as a signatory. He tried to create some independence. Started talking about getting a job, building his own career. Victoria's response was swift and terrifying. "Why do you need a job? Am I not taking care of you properly?" "It's not that. I just want to build something for myself." Victoria's eyes went cold. "Marcus, everything you are, everything you have, everything you will ever be comes through me. Don't forget that." That night, she took his car keys. "Until you remember your place," she said calmly. Marcus got the message, but resentment was building inside him like pressure in a bottle. 6 months into their arrangement, Marcus met Chioma. She was 24, a final-year student at the University of Lagos studying psychology. They met at a coffee shop in Victoria Island where Marcus had gone to clear his head after another suffocating evening with Victoria. Chioma was different. She was intelligent, independent, funny. When she laughed, it was genuine, not calculated like Victoria's. When she looked at Marcus, she saw him, not his designer clothes or expensive watch. "You seem sad," she said during their first conversation. Marcus was surprised by her directness. "What makes you say that?" "Your eyes. They don't match your smile. You're pretending to be happy." For the first time in months, Marcus felt truly seen. Not as Victoria's project or possession, but as himself. They started meeting secretly. Coffee dates became lunch dates. Lunch dates became long walks along the beach. Chioma made Marcus remember who he was before Victoria transformed him. "You're not like other guys I know," Chioma said one evening as they watched the sunset at Tarkwa Bay. "Most guys with your lifestyle are arrogant, self-centered. But you're different, almost like you're playing a role." Marcus wanted to tell her everything, but he couldn't. How could he explain that his entire life was a performance? That every designer item he wore, every expensive meal he ate, every luxury he enjoyed came with chains attached? Instead, he said, "Everyone's playing a role, aren't they?" Chioma studied him carefully. "Not me. I prefer being authentic, even if it's messier." Marcus fell for her. Not the desperate, transaction-based dynamic he had with Victoria, but something real, something that made him feel alive again. For 3 weeks, he lived a double life. Days belonged to Victoria, shopping trips, business dinners, social events where she showed him off like a prized possession. Evenings belonged to Chioma, real conversations, genuine laughter, moments where Marcus could just be himself. He thought he was being careful. He thought he could maintain both worlds without them colliding. He was wrong. Victoria was many things, but she wasn't stupid. She had built a business empire by paying attention to details, by noticing when things were out of place. And Marcus was definitely out of place. He was distracted during their dinner conversations. His phone buzzed more often with messages he would quickly dismiss. Most telling of all, he seemed happier. Not the grateful, dependent happiness she had cultivated in him, but something else. Something that didn't originate from her. Victoria hired a private investigator. Within a week, she had photos. Marcus and Chioma holding hands at the beach. Marcus and Chioma sharing ice cream at a parlor in Surulere. Marcus and Chioma kissing outside her university. The night Victoria received the photos, she sat in her study sipping a glass of expensive wine, staring at the images. Her hands were steady, her face calm, but inside her, something dark was awakening. She had given Marcus everything, transformed him from a nobody into somebody. And this was how he repaid her? By sneaking around with some little university girl? Victoria made a decision that night. A decision that would destroy both of their lives. She called Marcus the next morning, her voice sweet as honey. "Darling, can you come over tonight? I have a surprise for you." Marcus, feeling guilty about his deception, agreed immediately. "Of course. What's the occasion? Do I need an occasion to surprise the man I love?"
Victoria laughed.
"Just come. And Marcus, dress nicely. This is going to be a special evening." Marcus arrived at Victoria's Banana Island mansion at 8 p.m., wearing the Tom Ford suit she had bought him last month. Victoria met him at the door in a stunning red dress, her smile radiant. "You look handsome," she said, kissing his cheek. "Come, dinner is ready." The dining room was set like something from a romantic movie. Candles, roses, expensive wine. Victoria had prepared his favorite meal, pepper soup with assorted meat and pounded yam. "This is beautiful," Marcus said, genuinely touched. "What's the special occasion? Can't a woman celebrate the man she loves?" Victoria replied, pouring wine into both their glasses. "To us, darling. To our future together." They clinked glasses. Marcus drank deeply, the wine tasting richer than usual. Victoria barely sipped hers, watching him over the rim of her glass. They talked about business, about his family, about their plans for the weekend. Marcus found himself relaxing, feeling guilty for doubting Victoria's love for him. Maybe he was being too harsh. Maybe she did genuinely care about him. "I love you, Marcus," Victoria said suddenly, her eyes intense. "More than you know. More than you'll ever understand." "I love you too," Marcus replied, though the words felt heavy in his mouth. Was it the wine? He was feeling strange, disconnected. Victoria smiled, a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I know you do, darling. And that's why what happens next is going to hurt me more than it hurts you." Marcus blinked, trying to focus. Victoria's voice seemed to be coming from very far away. "What do you mean?" Victoria reached into her purse and pulled out the photographs. She spread them across the table like playing cards. Marcus's blood went cold. "Did you think I wouldn't find out?" Victoria's voice was no longer sweet. It was steel wrapped in silk. Marcus tried to stand, but his legs wouldn't cooperate. The room was spinning. "Victoria, I can explain." "Explain what?" "How you've been playing me for a fool. How you've been using my money to impress some little girl. How you've been betraying everything I've done for you." Marcus's vision was blurring. "What did you put in the wine?" Victoria's laugh was cold, terrible. "Just something to help you relax, darling. We're going to have a long conversation, and I need you to be cooperative." The last thing Marcus remembered was Victoria's face, beautiful and terrible, leaning over him as darkness claimed his vision. When Marcus woke up, his world had changed forever. He was in a room he had never seen before, small, windowless, with concrete walls and a single bed. His hands were zip-tied behind his back, his ankles bound together. A single bulb hanging from the ceiling provided harsh, cold light. Panic hit him like a physical blow. He struggled against the restraints, but they only cut deeper into his wrists. He screamed, his voice echoing off the walls, but no one answered. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time had no meaning in that room. Finally, the door opened. Victoria walked in, no longer the elegant businesswoman he knew. She was wearing simple clothes, her hair tied back, but her eyes were different. Cold, calculating, with something that looked like madness dancing in their depths. "Good morning, my love," she said, her voice sickeningly sweet. "How did you sleep?" "Victoria, what the hell is this? Let me go," Victoria tisked, shaking her head. "Such language, Marcus. Is that any way to speak to the woman who gave you everything?" She walked to the bed, sitting down beside him like they were having a casual conversation. "Do you know where you are? This is the basement of my house. Soundproof walls, reinforced door, no cell phone signal. No one can hear you scream, and no one knows you're here." Marcus felt cold terror wash over him. "People will look for me. My family, my friends. We'll think you ran away with some girl, Victoria finished calmly. I've already handled that. Sent some messages from your phone about needing space, about traveling. By the time anyone gets worried, the trail will be completely cold. She reached out to stroke his face, and Marcus flinched away. Victoria's expression darkened. Don't pull away from me, she snapped. After everything I've done for you, the least you can do is show me some affection. You're insane, Marcus whispered. Victoria backhanded him across the face, the slap echoing in the small room. I'm not insane, darling. I'm in love. And love requires sacrifice. She stood up, pacing the small room like a caged animal. Do you know what you put me through? The humiliation. I gave you everything, and you threw it away for some college girl who probably doesn't even know your real worth. Victoria, please. If you love me, you'll let me go. This isn't love. This is exactly what love is. Victoria screamed, her composure finally cracking. Love is possession. Love is control. Love is doing whatever it takes to keep the person you care about safe, even from themselves. She took a deep breath, composing herself again. You're confused right now, upset. I understand. But in time, you'll see that this is for the best. Here, you can't be tempted. Here, you can't betray me. Here, you're safe. Marcus stared at her in horror. You can't keep me here forever. Victoria's smile was terrifying in its certainty. Watch me. The days that followed were a nightmare Marcus couldn't wake up from. Victoria had thought of everything. The room had a small bathroom connected to it, giving Marcus basic privacy for his needs. She brought him food 3 times a day, always his favorites, prepared perfectly, as if this was some twisted form of hospitality. She would untie his hands only long enough for him to eat, watching him like a hawk the entire time. If he tried to talk about escape, about calling the police, about anything other than accepting his situation, she would simply tie him back up and leave without a word. But the worst part wasn't the confinement. It was Victoria. She would come down every evening, dressed beautifully, carrying a bottle of wine and 2 glasses as if they were on a romantic dinner date. She would talk about her day, about business deals, about plans for their future together. When you accept that this is where you belong, she would say, we can make some adjustments, maybe a bigger room, maybe some books, a TV. But first, you have to stop fighting me. Marcus tried everything. He begged, pleaded, raged, cried. Nothing moved her. Victoria saw his resistance as a phase that would eventually pass. You're just confused, she would say calmly. The outside world poisoned your mind against me. But here you can remember what we really mean to each other. The psychological torture was worse than the physical imprisonment. Victoria would show him photos on her phone. His family going about their lives, apparently convinced he was traveling. His friends posting on social media about missing him but assuming he was living his best life somewhere exotic. See? The world has moved on without you. But I'm still here. I'll always be here. 2 weeks into his captivity, Victoria's visits became more intimate. She would bring down a small bottle of chloroform, just enough to make him drowsy and compliant. While he drifted in and out of consciousness, she would use him, touch him, take what she wanted while he was too weak to resist. Marcus would wake up hours later feeling violated, dirty, broken. When he confronted Victoria about it, she looked genuinely confused. We're partners, darling. Intimacy is natural between people who love each other. I don't love you, Marcus screamed. I hate you. I despise you. Victoria's face went cold. For the first time since his captivity began, she looked genuinely hurt. You don't mean that. Yes, I do. You're a monster. You're sick, twisted, and when I get out of here, I'm going to make sure everyone knows what you really are. Victoria stared at him for a long moment. Then she smiled, but it was the most terrifying smile Marcus had ever seen. You know what, Marcus? You're right. I am a monster, but I'm your monster, and monsters don't let go of what they love. She walked to the door, then turned back. Since you want to be difficult, let's try something different. No more nice dinners. No more conversations. You can sit here in silence until you remember how to appreciate what you have. For the next week, Victoria's only visits were to deliver food and water. No conversation, no eye contact, no acknowledgement of Marcus's existence beyond keeping him alive. The isolation was crushing. Marcus found himself looking forward to her visits, even the terrible ones, because they were the only human contact he had. He began to understand how prisoners of war were broken down, how the human mind could be shattered by loneliness. On day 23 of his captivity, Marcus broke. Victoria came down with his evening meal as usual, silent and efficient. As she turned to leave, Marcus called out weakly, "Victoria, wait." She paused but didn't turn around.
I'm sorry, Marcus whispered.
"I'm sorry for what I said, for what I did. You're right. You gave me everything, and I threw it away." Slowly, Victoria turned. Her face was cautious but hopeful. "Do you mean that?" Marcus forced himself to nod. "I was ungrateful. Stupid. I don't know what I was thinking." Victoria walked back to him, searching his face for sincerity. "And the girl? Chioma?" Marcus felt like he was swallowing glass. "She meant nothing. You're the only one who matters." Victoria's smile was radiant. "Oh, my darling. I knew you'd come around. I knew you'd remember what we have together." She untied his hands and pulled him into a hug. Marcus forced himself not to recoil, not to push her away. He was playing a part now, and his life depended on playing it well. "I love you," he whispered into her ear, the lie burning his throat. "I love you too, baby. So much. More than you'll ever know." That night, Victoria brought down a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses. She was glowing with happiness, talking excitedly about their future together. "We'll take a trip," she said, refilling his glass. "Somewhere exotic. The Maldives, maybe. Just the 2 of us. We can start fresh. Put all this unpleasantness behind us." Marcus nodded and smiled, playing the part of the devoted boyfriend. But inside, his mind was racing. Victoria was relaxing her guard. She was starting to trust him again. And that was going to be her mistake. Over the next few days, Victoria began giving Marcus small freedoms. She would untie him for hours at a time, allowing him to move around the small room. She brought down books, magazines, even a small TV. "See how nice things can be when you cooperate," she said proudly. Marcus played his role perfectly. Grateful, loving, completely devoted to Victoria. He complimented her cooking, laughed at her stories, told her how beautiful she looked. Every word was a lie, but Victoria drank it up like she was dying of thirst. 3 days later, Victoria made the announcement Marcus had been waiting for. "I think you're ready to see the rest of the house again," she said. "Just for a little while. We'll have dinner upstairs like we used to." Marcus's heart pounded, but he kept his voice steady. "Are you sure? I don't want to rush things if you're not comfortable." Victoria's smile was brilliant. "I'm sure. You've proven that you understand now, that you know where you belong." That evening, Victoria led Marcus upstairs for the first time in over a month. The mansion looked exactly the same, but to Marcus, it felt like emerging from a tomb into the world of the living. Victoria had prepared an elaborate dinner. Candlelight, wine, his favorite music playing softly in the background. She was wearing the same red dress she had worn on the night she drugged him. "This is nice," Marcus said, forcing warmth into his voice. "I missed this. Missed US."
Victoria beamed.
"I missed it too, darling. I hated having to be so harsh with you. But sometimes we have to hurt the people we love to help them see clearly." They ate in relative silence, Victoria chattering about business while Marcus nodded and smiled. But he was memorizing everything. The layout of the house, the location of doors and windows, potential escape routes. After dinner, Victoria suggested they watch a movie in her bedroom. Marcus agreed enthusiastically, though his skin crawled at the thought of being alone with her in such an intimate setting. Victoria's bedroom was massive, with a king-sized bed and a sitting area with a large-screen TV. She put on some romantic comedy, then curled up next to Marcus on the bed. "This is perfect," she sighed, resting her head on his chest. Just the two of us, like it should be. Marcus stroked her hair, playing the part. Perfect, he agreed. 20 minutes into the movie, Victoria fell asleep. Marcus lay perfectly still, listening to her breathing, feeling the rise and fall of her chest against his arm. This was his chance. Maybe his only chance. Carefully, slowly, he extracted himself from Victoria's embrace. She stirred slightly but didn't wake. Marcus held his breath, waiting. After a few seconds, her breathing returned to the deep, steady rhythm of sleep. Marcus looked around the room. Victoria's purse was on the dresser. Inside it would be car keys, credit cards, cash, maybe even his own phone. All he needed to do was grab it and run. He took one step toward the dresser. Going somewhere, darling? Marcus's blood turned to ice. Victoria's voice was soft, casual, as if she was asking about the weather. He turned slowly to find her sitting up in bed, completely awake, watching him with eyes that glittered with cold amusement. I was just... The bathroom, Marcus said weakly. Victoria's laugh was soft and terrible. Oh, Marcus, did you really think I was asleep? Did you really think I would trust you so quickly? She got up from the bed, moving with the fluid grace of a predator. I've been watching you for days, studying your performance. You're quite good, I'll give you that. Almost had me convinced. Marcus backed toward the bedroom door, but Victoria was faster. She pressed a button on her nightstand, and he heard the distinctive click of electronic locks engaging. You see, my love, I've made some improvements to the house since your little vacation downstairs. Every door is now controlled electronically. Every window has sensors. The entire property is surrounded by a 12-foot electric fence. Even if you somehow got out of this room, you'd never make it off the grounds. Marcus stared at her in horror. You're completely insane. Victoria's smile was radiant and terrifying. I prefer to think of myself as thorough. Now let's go back downstairs. I think you need some time to reflect on your behavior. This time, Victoria didn't just tie Marcus up. She chained him to the wall with heavy shackles around his ankles, the kind used for dangerous prisoners. The chain was only long enough to allow him to reach the bed and the small bathroom. Nothing more. I'm disappointed in you, Marcus, Victoria said as she locked the shackles. I thought we had made progress. I thought you had finally understood what we mean to each other. Please, Marcus whispered, all pretense gone. Please just let me go. I won't tell anyone. I'll disappear, go somewhere far away. You'll never have to see me again. Victoria knelt down beside him, her face soft with what looked like genuine sadness. Oh, my sweet boy, don't you understand? I don't want to never see you again. You are the most precious thing in my world. The thought of losing you is unbearable. She stroked his cheek gently. I know this seems harsh. I know you're scared and confused. But one day you'll understand that everything I'm doing is out of love. Pure, unconditional love. This isn't love, Marcus said desperately. Love is freedom. Love is choice. What you're doing is... What I'm doing is protecting you, Victoria interrupted sharply. From yourself, from the world, from people who would use you and throw you away. Here you're safe. Here you're cherished. Here you're mine. She stood up, smoothing down her dress. I'm going to leave you alone for a while to think about your actions. When I come back, I hope we can have a more productive conversation about your future. The door closed with a heavy finality, and Marcus was alone in his concrete prison once again. But this time was different. This time, he knew there was no reasoning with Victoria, no manipulating her, no escape through charm or lies. Victoria wasn't just obsessed. She was completely, utterly mad, and she had no intention of ever letting him go. Days blended into weeks. Marcus lost track of time completely. Victoria's visits became less frequent, more clinical. She would bring food, check his chains, sometimes force intimacy upon him while he was too drugged to resist, then leave without conversation. Marcus began to understand that this was his life now. Not temporary captivity, but permanent imprisonment. Victoria hadn't kidnapped him in a moment of passion. She had planned this, prepared for this, chosen this. The realization broke something inside him. He stopped fighting the chains, stopped screaming for help, stopped hoping that someone would find him. He existed in a strange, disconnected state, like he was watching his own life from a distance. Victoria noticed the change. "You're learning to accept your situation," she said approvingly during one of her visits. "I'm proud of you." Marcus didn't respond. He barely looked at her anymore. "I know this is difficult," Victoria continued, sitting on the bed beside his chained form. "But you're becoming the man you were meant to be. My man. Completely devoted. Completely loyal. Completely mine." Marcus stared at the wall.
Victoria frowned.
"Marcus? Darling, talk to me." "Nothing." Victoria grabbed his face, forcing him to look at her. His eyes were empty, hollow, like looking into abandoned rooms. "Marcus, I need you to respond to me. I need to know you're okay." For the first time in weeks, Marcus spoke. His voice was flat, emotionless. "I'm not okay. I'll never be okay again. And neither will you." Victoria's frown deepened. "What do you mean?" Marcus met her eyes, and for a moment Victoria saw something that made her take a step back. Not anger, not fear, not even hatred. Just nothing. Complete, devastating emptiness. "You destroyed both of us," Marcus said quietly. "You think you won something, but you didn't. You killed the person you claimed to love, and you turned yourself into a monster. We're both dead now. We're just waiting for our bodies to catch up." Victoria stared at him, shaken by the complete absence of life in his voice. This wasn't the vibrant, charming young man she had fallen in love with. This wasn't even the angry, defiant captive he had been. This was something else. Something broken beyond repair. "You don't mean that," Victoria said, but her voice lacked conviction. Marcus lay back down on the bed, turning away from her. "Wake me up when it's over." Victoria left the room troubled for the first time since this all began. She had expected Marcus to eventually accept his situation, maybe even grow to appreciate it. She hadn't expected him to disappear inside himself. Upstairs in her study, Victoria poured herself a large glass of wine and stared out at the Lagos skyline. For the first time, she allowed herself to really think about what she was doing. Marcus had been in that room for almost 3 months. 3 months of chains, confinement, forced intimacy, psychological manipulation. She told herself it was love, but looking at the empty shell of the man she had claimed to care about, Victoria began to wonder if she had made a terrible mistake. But it was too late to turn back now. Even if she wanted to let Marcus go, how could she? He knew everything. He could destroy her life, her business, her reputation. He could send her to prison for decades. Victoria realized with growing horror that she had trapped herself just as completely as she had trapped Marcus. There was no exit strategy. No way back to the life she had before. She had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. Meanwhile, Marcus's disappearance was finally raising serious questions. His younger sister, Blessing, had been the first to get suspicious. Marcus might have been many things, but he had never gone more than a week without calling home. 3 months of silence was completely out of character. She went to the police, but they initially dismissed her concerns. "Young men his age often take off," the officer said dismissively, "especially when they get involved with older women. He's probably living it up somewhere." But Blessing was persistent. She kept calling, kept filing reports, kept pushing for an investigation. Finally, she got the attention of Detective Inspector Ahmed Karim, a seasoned investigator who specialized in missing persons cases. Detective Karim reviewed Marcus's case with fresh eyes. What he found troubled him. The text messages that supposedly came from Marcus's phone were all sent in the middle of the night. The language wasn't quite right, too formal, too careful. And there were no social media posts, no credit card transactions, no digital footprint at all after a certain date. "This doesn't look like someone who left voluntarily," Detective Karim told his partner, Detective Sergeant Funmi Adeyemi. "This looks like someone who disappeared." They began investigating Marcus's last known activities. Security footage from Victoria Island showed him entering Victoria's office building on several occasions. Witnesses at the party where they met remembered seeing them together. "We need to talk to this Victoria Adebayo," Detective Karim said. When they arrived at Victoria's corporate headquarters, she received them in her executive conference room, poised and professional. "Officers, how can I help you?" Victoria asked, her voice steady. "We're investigating the disappearance of Marcus Okoro," Detective Karim said, watching her face carefully. "We understand you knew him." Victoria's expression didn't change. "Yes, Marcus and I were acquainted. We met at a social function a few months ago." "When did you last see him?" "Oh, it's been weeks. Maybe 2 months. He mentioned something about traveling, seeing the world. Young men his age often get restless, don't they?" Detective Adeyemi leaned forward. "Mrs. Adebayo, we have security footage showing Mr. Okoro entering your building multiple times. This suggests your relationship was more than casual acquaintance." Victoria's smile didn't waver. "We were friends. I was mentoring him, helping him with business opportunities. Nothing more than that." "Did you have a romantic relationship with Mr. Okoro?" Detective Karim asked directly. For just a moment, something flickered in Victoria's eyes. Possessiveness? Anger? But it was gone so quickly the detectives almost missed it. "I'm a successful businesswoman, detective. I don't need to buy companionship from young men half my age." The detectives left with more questions than answers. Victoria's story was plausible, but something felt off. Her body language, her carefully chosen words, the way she seemed just a little too prepared for their questions. "She's hiding something," Detective Adeyemi said as they drove away. "Definitely. But hiding what? And can we prove it?" They began building a case methodically. Phone records, financial transactions, witness statements. Slowly, a picture emerged of a relationship that was far more intense than Victoria had admitted. Marcus's friends confirmed that he had been living an expensive lifestyle that didn't match his income. The car he drove was registered to Victoria. The apartment he lived in was leased by one of her companies. "This woman was bankrolling his entire life," Detective Karim said. "That's not mentorship. That's control." The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Chioma, the university student Marcus had been secretly seeing, finally came forward. She had been watching the news coverage of Marcus's disappearance with growing alarm. Finally, her conscience got the better of her and she called the police. "Marcus was seeing me," she told the detectives. "He was scared of this woman, Victoria. He said she was obsessive, controlling. He wanted to leave her, but he didn't know how." "Did he ever mention being threatened?" Detective Adeyemi asked. "Not directly threatened, but he said she had told him that everything he had came through her. His car, his apartment, his money. He felt trapped." This was the missing piece the detectives needed. Marcus hadn't left voluntarily. He had been trapped in a controlling relationship and had been trying to escape when he disappeared. They obtained a warrant to search Victoria's properties. Victoria watched from her office window as police cars pulled up to her mansion. She had been expecting this day for weeks, ever since Marcus had retreated into his shell of emptiness. She went downstairs to the basement one last time. Marcus was exactly where she had left him, chained to the wall, staring at nothing. He had lost significant weight. His skin was pale and unhealthy. His eyes were completely vacant. "The police are here," Victoria said quietly. Marcus didn't respond. "They're going to find you. This is all going to come out." "Nothing." Victoria knelt beside him, studying his face. The beautiful, charming young man she had fallen in love with was gone. What remained was a broken shell, destroyed by months of captivity and abuse. "I'm sorry," she whispered, and for the first time she meant it. "I never wanted to hurt you. I just wanted to love you." Marcus turned to look at her then, the first time he had made eye contact in weeks. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "You never loved me. You loved owning me. There's a difference." Victoria felt tears running down her cheeks. "What do you want me to tell them?" "The police." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then, Tell them the truth. It's the only thing that might save what's left of your soul. Upstairs, the police had found the hidden door to the basement. Detective Karim led the team down the stairs, not knowing what to expect. When they found Marcus, chained to the wall in that concrete room, even the seasoned detective had to step outside for a moment to compose himself.
Jesus Christ. Detektive Ademi Breated.
How long has he been down here? Marcus looked up at them with eyes that had seen too much. What day is it? He asked weakly. It's November 15th, Detective Karim said gently. Marcus did the math in his head. For months, he said. For months. The paramedics were called immediately. Marcus was dehydrated, malnourished, and in severe psychological distress. As they prepared to transport him to the hospital, Victoria was arrested. She didn't resist. She didn't demand lawyers or make threats. She simply held out her hands for the handcuffs with an expression of almost relief on her face. Victoria Adebayo, Detective Karim said formally, you are under arrest for kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and sexual assault. You have the right to remain silent. As they led her away, Victoria turned back one last time to look at Marcus being wheeled out on a stretcher. Their eyes met briefly, and in that moment, both of them understood that their lives would never be the same. Marcus spent 2 weeks in the hospital recovering physically. Psychologically, the healing would take much longer. The media attention was intense. Rich businesswoman keeps boy chained in basement for months, read the headlines. Victoria's face was plastered across every newspaper and news website in Nigeria. Her business empire crumbled overnight. Partners pulled out, investors fled, employees resigned. The woman who had once been one of Lagos's most powerful businesspeople became a pariah. At her trial, Victoria pleaded guilty to all charges. Her lawyer had advised her to fight, to claim diminished capacity, to argue that she was mentally ill. But Victoria refused. I did what they said I did, she told the court. I destroyed a young man's life because I thought I loved him. I was wrong about love. I was wrong about everything. The judge sentenced her to 25 years in prison. As for Marcus, freedom didn't feel like freedom anymore. He couldn't stay in Lagos. Everywhere he went, people recognized him from the news coverage. Some looked at him with pity, others with curiosity, a few with the kind of prurient interest that made his skin crawl. He moved back home with his family, but even there he struggled. Crowds made him panic. Closed doors terrified him. He couldn't sleep without checking and rechecking that his room wasn't locked. The psychological trauma was severe and lasting. PTSD, anxiety disorder, depression. Marcus went through multiple therapists before finding one who could help him begin to process what had happened to him. You survived something that would have broken most people, Dr. Emeka Okafor told him during one of their sessions. The fact that you're here, that you're fighting to get better, that takes incredible strength. I don't feel strong, Marcus replied. I feel like she's still in my head, like part of me is still chained to that wall. Healing isn't linear, Dr. Okafor said gently. Some days will be better than others, but every day you choose to keep fighting is a victory. It took Marcus 3 years to feel even remotely normal again. 3 years of therapy, medication, the love and support of his family, and his own tremendous inner strength. He never returned to the lifestyle Victoria had given him. The expensive clothes, the luxury apartment, the flashy car, all of it reminded him of his captivity. Instead, he found work as a counselor helping other victims of abuse and trauma. I understand what it feels like to have your life controlled by someone else, he would tell his clients. But I also know that you can take your power back. It's hard, and it takes time, but it's possible. Marcus never dated again. The trauma of his experience with Victoria had left him unable to trust romantic relationships. But he found meaning in his work, in helping others, in slowly rebuilding a life that was truly his own. 5 years after his rescue, Marcus received a letter in prison mail. It was from Victoria. He almost threw it away without reading it. His therapist had advised him that he owed his abuser nothing, not even acknowledgement. But curiosity got the better of him. The letter was short, Marcus, I know I have no right to write to you. I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness. What I did to you was unforgivable. I've spent 5 years in here thinking about what I did, why I did it, how I could have believed that what I was doing was love. I don't have good answers. I was selfish, obsessive, and cruel. I stole months of your life and caused you pain that I can never undo. I'm not writing to ask for forgiveness. I'm writing to tell you that I'm glad you survived. I'm glad you're free. I'm glad you found a way to build a life that has meaning. I destroyed both of our lives because I thought love meant possession. I was wrong about everything. I hope you never think about me. I hope you found peace. I'm sorry.
Victoria.
Marcus read the letter twice, then put it in a drawer. He never replied. 2 years later, he learned that Victoria had died in prison. A heart attack, sudden and massive. She was 53. Marcus felt nothing. No sadness, no relief, no closure. Just emptiness where she used to live in his mind. At her funeral, which was sparsely attended, Marcus stood at the back of the church. He didn't speak to anyone, didn't participate in the service. He just watched as the woman who had destroyed his life was lowered into the ground. Afterward, he drove to the beach at Tarqua Bay, the same beach where he had once walked with Chioma in what felt like another lifetime. He sat on the sand as the sun set over the Lagos Lagoon, thinking about the strange turns life can take. Marcus was 32 now, older than Victoria had been when they first met. He had gray in his hair and lines around his eyes. The trauma had aged him, but it had also taught him things about resilience, about the human capacity to endure and overcome. He thought about the young man he had been at 22, hungry for success, willing to compromise anything for money and status. That boy seemed like a stranger now. The trauma had changed him fundamentally, but perhaps not entirely for the worse. He had learned that some doors should never be opened, no matter how golden they appear. He had learned that love based on control isn't love at all. He had learned that freedom, real freedom, was worth more than any luxury. Most importantly, he had learned that survival was possible, even after the worst kind of betrayal and abuse. As the sun disappeared below the horizon, Marcus stood up, brushed the sand off his clothes, and walked back to his car. He had work to do tomorrow, people to help, a life to live. Behind him, the waves washed away his footprints, leaving the beach clean and empty, ready for whatever came next. The lesson of Marcus and Victoria's story isn't complicated, but it's important. Money can buy many things, but it cannot buy love, loyalty, or another person's soul. When we try to possess people, we destroy both them and ourselves. Victoria thought she was investing in love when she was actually purchasing a human being. Marcus thought he was securing his future when he was actually selling his freedom. Both of them paid a price that was far higher than anything they gained. Real love, the kind worth having, cannot be bought, cannot be forced, cannot be chained up and kept in a basement. Real love requires freedom, choice, and mutual respect. Anything else isn't love at all. It's just another form of slavery, dressed up in expensive clothes and served with fine wine. The scars of their story serve as a warning. Be careful what you're willing to give up for comfort. Be careful what you're willing to do for love. Because some prices are too high to pay, and some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. Marcus survived his ordeal and built a meaningful life from the ashes of his trauma. Victoria died in prison, her empire destroyed, her name synonymous with obsession and abuse. In the end, the boy who sold his freedom found a way to reclaim it. The woman who thought she could buy love discovered that some things cannot be purchased at any price. The choice between freedom and comfort, between authentic love and controlling possession, is one we all face in different ways throughout our lives. Choose wisely. The consequences last far longer than we think. And remember, if someone's love comes with chains, it isn't love at all. This story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of transactional relationships, the devastating effects of abuse and control, and the possibility of survival and healing even after the most traumatic experiences. If you or someone you know is experiencing abuse or trafficking, please reach out to local authorities or support organizations. Remember, true love liberates, it never imprisons.